trying to find my way as an entrepreneur, and how challenging it was for me. And he said, I haven't used this stuff in a while, but if you use this, your life will change. I just kind of looked at him. I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. And so he gave me some meditations. He gave me some books to read, and I went and did it. And I can't even remember what my old life was like. Very few of my old friends made it through. Fortunately, Dr. Bryant's here tonight, which is, one of the few friends that supported me through a lot of those trials and tribulations that I went through. But Pankaj, you get a kick out of this. Today was day 5. And so he gave me a bunch of meditations, and then he gave me um, these little 3-line, I don't even know what you call them, but I'll call them quotes or reminders. And so I put them on my calendar. So every day I get one of those reminders. And the day that I was with Pankaj, it was day 5. He was reading day 5. And so I don't think it's actually a coincidence that again today is day 5 for me. And more than willing to share that with anybody who's interested. But um, if you actually do the work, there will be an outcome from you or for you, and then from you if you're willing to use that to help other people. So I totally believe in what he's going to share. And we did a different course last fall, and really excited to go into this one. Even though I didn't understand everything we were talking about in the moment last fall, everything that we talked about actually revealed itself to be completely true. And now it is actually guidance that I share with other people. So um, if you dig in and follow the instructions, I think you will get results that you may not actually believe are possible for you, because I certainly have.
Thank you so much, Jerome, for sharing your experience. And the key thing with Jerome is he was consistent and he was committed. He took something simple that I shared with him and he practiced it day in, day out for over a year. And he got results as a part of it. What I'm going to share with you guys today, combined with what I share with Jerome, which will come later on in this course, it's very simple. It's very practical, but consistent commitment is the key. Without that, you're not going to get much value from this course. There's nothing really you're going to read in the book that's going to be like, oh, wow, that's a new thing. I never thought of that before. Or maybe you might, but that's not going to change your life. What is going to change your life, though, I guarantee 1,000%, is a commitment to taking some small baby steps or baby actions on a daily basis, dedicating and devoting yourself 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, once a day, maybe twice a day, ultimately, but no more is what we ask for in this course. There's a little bit of reading, but mostly it's exercises, and each exercise builds upon the next exercise. So I welcome you to the course. Welcome, Sean. I welcome you to the course. I really honor you, and I'm honored to be a facilitator in this process to share this material with you. A little bit more background on me. I shared this course 16 years ago with a group in 20, 30 people in New Jersey, a group of 20, 30 people in Delaware, and a group of about 30 people here in Pennsylvania. 16 years ago, I came across this work, 2006, 2005, around that time. And really, it just opened me up to the flow and living in the flow and getting out of the head. You know, uh, I called living in the head like living the land of the lost. You remember that TV show from back in the day? But regardless of the TV show, like this is the land of the lost, living in your head, because the head never knows what the deal is. The head's got all these thoughts. It's racing. It's just confusion, anxiety, all that stuff comes from living in the land of the lost. And so this simple practice, the fundamental practice I call it, it's called the simple practice or whatever, is about tuning into your heart center, tuning into a vibration that's in what the Hindus and the yogis call the Hridayam. The seat right here is called the seat of joy. And you feel this vibration and sensation there. And as you attune to this sensation and vibration, whatever you focus upon expands. Wherever the attention goes, the energy flows. And so as you tune in to this vibration, this sensation, which is your own unique rhythm, right? That changes and expands and contracts and all that. But as you start to tune into it, like you'll start feeling like your body starts to relax. You start feeling the tension in your body just start to melt away. I came home today at 5 o'clock, and you come home from a day's work and you're just like tired and you're just carrying all this stuff. And I'm like, and I just sat for 10 minutes. And I sat for 10 minutes. I tuned into the center. I felt the vibration. And after that 10 minutes, I felt revived again. I felt fresh again. I felt renewed. So it's renewed energy, renewed vigor, and just living from a place of connectedness rather than living in the land of the lost. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and screen share and get into a little bit from the book itself before we proceed. So this is from the introduction. I'm going to try to read this, but it's like my screen is covered. But this is just a powerful part that's from the introduction. Let me see if I can minimize this. Hold on. For some reason, I did not get the. I'm going to read it from the book instead, but you can see it on the screen. This is from the end of the introduction. To be powerful requires two elements: being in the flow of the almighty energy of the cosmos and having a focus. Abundant nature is in that flow with a focus. Look at the word flower. Look at the flower, flower. What a perfect word. The flower symbolizes the flow of nature. It flows with all the forces around it to pollinate and to create a seed. Then it returns to being a flower again, and on and on. It flows and flows and flowers. The flower is focused for its own perfect purpose to manifest another flower. When you follow with the flower, when you flow with the when you flow, you flower with abundance. I don't know if I'm on the right page because I'm okay here. You know what?
Yeah, you're good, Pankaj.
I'm good. All right, sorry. It's hard to read your screen and read the book at the same time. When you flow, you flower with abundance. Once this flow starts, it does not stop. It never occurs to the flower. Indeed, it never occurs to us either that the flower won't go to seed to produce another flower. This is the natural law, the law of the flower, flower. All right. The law of the flower is the secret of abundance. Just let go and let flow while you focus on your purpose. From this book, you will learn the techniques to get into the flow of the natural laws that govern money. Each of the techniques sharpen and broadens your focus. By the time you've learned them all, you'll be flowing with a sharp, wide focus on a world of abundance. In order to capture a monkey in the wild, you only need to put peanuts in a milk bottle that is anchored in place. The monkey puts her hand into the bottle, grabs a fist of peanuts, and then can't get her fist out. Of course, she could let go, but to do so would make her feel like she lost her prize. Instead, she clings and loses her freedom. This is your choice as well. Cling to your old notions about money and remain trapped, regardless of your present wealth, or let go and gain freedom. Freedom with abundance is the reward for being in tune with the natural forces and knowing how to focus the energy that flows through you. Freedom with abundance is your reward for perfecting and practicing the techniques in the following pages. Learn to flow with wealth. Learn to flow with the wealth of nature. Be a flower. The flow, along with a wise focus, brings you lots of money for a world of plenty. Then life truly becomes fun. We live in an infinite universe, and we have every right to experience its infinity. Prosperity is the perfect place to begin. So that's just beautiful, by doing this work and committing, like I said, I really honor the commitment you're making to yourself and doing this work. But in doing this work, you're not only blessing yourself, you're blessing the world, because as you raise your consciousness, as you raise your vibration, like that is the greatest service, world service that you can provide, because as you are lifted up, you lift up everything around you. And we really need a lot of that, more of that. So getting into the first chapter is called The Rhythms of Reality. And it just says that, I got to really learn how to minimize it so I can read my own thing, but I have to go to the book, sorry. For some reason, my cursor disappears when I am
Pankaj, do you want one of us to read it for you?
Yeah, go
This is
ahead,
on the
please,
screen.
please, please help me out.
Okay. Rhythms of reality. Wherever we are, we experience constant rhythm of repeated action. That is the efficient flow of energy, and we are in the midst of it. There is no way creation could exist without rhythms, from the elementary sine wave in electronics to the movements of the galaxies. Money is an aspect of the rhythm of cosmic energy. To flow with money is to flow with nature, to flow naturally.
So thank you so much, James. You had a great voice. So I'm gonna designate you as my reader from now on. But you see how that how it connects to, I just took a segment of the first chapter and how it connects to the ending of the introduction. And it's all about the flow. It's all about the rhythm. And everything is alive with a rhythm. Everything is vibration. E equals MC squared. Everything is vibrating. Everything is energy. It's all energy. It's all around us. And the first part of this whole process is to start becoming aware and seeing the rhythms all around you. And hopefully some of you, I know a lot of people, some of you people, a handful of people just joined the course. They probably don't have the book yet, haven't been able to do the exercise yet. But so I wanted to at least talk about it and share about it, because it's just like noticing whether you're driving in your car, there's a rhythm of the car, there's a sound that's going on of the HVAC that's working. There's, just the motion of places and homes or whatever you're passing by on the road. If you're sitting right now in your house, I just want to welcome you to just tune in. There may be a rhythm, obviously, of me speaking, but you might hear the hum of a refrigerator or the HVAC or something, or a fan hovering above your head. There may be noises outside. There's natural rhythms, and then there's man-made rhythms. And so just by the first exercise is, you practice this a few times, at least practice it once and you get it, is just starting to see the rhythms that we live in, a world of rhythm and vibration, and it's all around us. And as we become aware of it, you become open to it, and then what it says later on, I didn't get a chance to type this up, so I have to read this. The purpose of the rhythm response, and this is what you're becoming aware of, this rhythm response, right? The purpose of the rhythm response is to open you to your environment. Wealth is all around you. It pulsates endlessly. Until you feel a part of it, you'll never allow it to pulsate with you and for you. Just think about that. I'm going to read that one more time. Wealth is all around you. It pulsates endlessly. Until you feel a part of it, you'll never allow it to pulsate with you and for you. With this exercise, you invite the flow of abundance. This is opening the door and hollering a welcome. It's the foundation to wallow in the vibration of money itself. Let this exercise open your awareness to all rhythms. Wherever you are, wherever you go, be on the lookout, see the movements, actions, rhythms, cycles all around you. Feel a part of them, identify with them. Eventually, you will look at the world with a fresh appreciation. So I want to just take a moment to invite, hold on. All right, I'm going to stop this here. So I want to take a moment to invite anybody who's had a chance to do the exercise, share their experience with everybody. You can just unmute yourself.
I'll share.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I took a nice walk around the park, really dialed into the sounds of nature and sounds of the cars that are passing by, and just had a lot of downloads and a lot of thoughts that came. And I kind of want to just thank you for holding this space and for creating the awareness around how easily it is to tap into this abundance that is all around in the natural world. And something just came to mind right before you opened it up, and I was like, boy, I hope he opens it up. Something came to me where it's like, you can only love someone else as much as you love yourself, right? So I feel like that's the same energy with the law of abundance, prosperity, the law of circulation. We can only receive as much as we believe that we can. So yeah, it was a really nice walk, and I'm looking forward to doing this practice daily. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Leo. Anybody else?
I'll share. So I've been kind of practicing it for a week, and I am realizing that how much I wasn't aware of all the rhythms that were happening around me. So it's almost like expanding, just the awareness of different sounds, different things that I'm doing, and it's really neat now that I'm aware of it and practicing it. So at first, when I read the first chapter too, when I was reading it and they were talking about the rhythm, I almost wanted to substitute the word rhythm for motion. And then I was like, then the more I was reading it and the more I was practicing it, I was like, okay, no, there really is a rhythm to things. So it's not just always moving, but it's like, moving, then coming back, moving, then coming back. So I thought that was interesting.
Thank you. So if you look at the word currency, what do you get? What's the root of the word currency? Current. And what's a current? A current never holds still. It's movement. If you look at all the markets, if you look at all the markets of any commodity or anything in the market, it's always in flux. It's always movement. There's a rhythm. There's a pattern of money of the markets. So that's the other thing. Currency, current. Think about energy. And so the more we're opening up and expanding ourselves and getting in tune with the energy that's all around us, the more we can allow that energy to flow into our lives and to flow into our pocketbooks and our purses and our wallets and our pocket. Anybody else? Yes, go ahead, please. You have to unmute yourself. I can unmute you. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having this today.
Oh.
When Jerome mentioned the book, I purchased the book because I love to read about energy and about, like how I feel it and how I grasp it. So I have been in tune with this type of science or belief, but when you're not practicing it, you kind of lose touch with it. So when I read the first chapter, as soon as I received the book, I just started quieting my mind, because I noticed that I think a lot and it's too much. It's like the thoughts in my mind just are fast. So I had to just breathe and started listening to my internal breathing. I do connect outside with the birds and with I saw bees, and I was just looking, I could even hear the sounds of certain insects. That's how I connected with it. And I was looking at the ceiling fan in my house, like the motion of it. And I just want to get better and in tune with that, because I think with all the noise that goes on with the world, we tend to lose touch with being part of the rhythm. And I started thinking about Gloria Stefan, the rhythm is going to get you. So so I said, if I don't get in tune with this rhythm, it's going to get me. So I better just be quiet. Thank you.
And the other cool thing about this type of practice is I've meditated for over a quarter of a century, right? Over 25 years of being a meditator, on and off, different practices. And there came a point in time, when my kids, I had little kids, and they make a little bit noise. It's like, shut up, get still, so thrown off or so triggered by noises and stuff. And this practice, you can be anywhere pretty much, unless somebody's banging something right next to your head pretty much, but you can be anywhere and be able to meditate and tune in to your own, as you get accustomed to it, tune in and not worry about all the sounds and whatever's going on all around. So it's really different, because like I said before, it's just trying to get quiet, getting still, and my kids making noises, how could I control them? How could I control the environment? You know what I mean? So it's I was so busy trying to control everything rather than being able to get still and get quiet, And the other thing is, when you're in touch with rhythm, right? You're in touch with the now. You're never going to be in touch with the rhythm from the past or the future. You're always going to be in touch. The rhythm brings you right into the now. And when you're in the now, you can't be in your mind. You can't be in the land of the lost. You're in the presence. You're in the present moment. So.
I have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Marcy.
I am so grateful for you in my life. I thank you so much. Actually, I'm preparing a concert in Doylestown, and I'm singing with Kamara, and I said, we need to do a rhythm, a body rhythm, and it's the old-fashioned hand bump. And to the rhythm of the body, the rhythm of the heart, I just want to thank you because I'm praying and asking for direction on how to perform this to the people for the rhythm of their bodies. And then you give me this lesson here. I am so grateful to you. I love you. Thank you.
I love you, Auntie. Auntie, you got your shaker with you?
I could get it, yes.
Yeah, can you give us a little rhythm?
Sure.
So we're blessed because we have the mother of rhythm right here with us. You know, Miss Bass. She played the bass. She plays the bass and she plays all kinds of instruments. Back in the '70s, she had her own women's rock group, and she's a master of the shaker. Go ahead, Marcy. Give us a little rhythm.
Thank you for the day, Spirit. Thank you for the day.
I just invite everybody, just listen to the rhythm. Be aware.
Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
All right, thank you, Marcy. Can you do one of them stand-up ones when you stand up and you shake it on, you hit your different parts of your body for a bit, or no? All right, go ahead. That's I haven't seen this live. This is all right. Next time we'll have AJ with him. He'll have his drum too at the same time. So.
And I just got my bass fixed, so the next time we're together, I'll play some funk on bass.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, let's give it up to Marcy for sharing the love with us. All right, so I think one more person and we'll move on. Anybody who's done the exercise?
Hi, it's
even,
Denise.
yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I was listening to a fan in my living room, and I was in the dining room, so I'm a little farther away from the fan. So as I was listening to it, when the fan went towards the living room, the sound got softer, and then as it was going towards me, the sound got louder. So I was listening to that, but then I also noticed that, like, it almost seems like it's like a ribbon. Like the sound will get very narrow, and then it will get very wide too. So that's just what I noticed. Like I guess the size of the noise, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. But it was interesting. It was interesting to hear that rhythm.
Thank you. All right, so we're gonna go from understanding and being aware of all the outer rhythms, right? And then chapter 2 talks about the basic practice, and the basic practice is the foundation of this course. Has anybody had a chance? Now, the basic practice in chapter 2, it's a 40-minute exercise. So I'm sure a bunch of people haven't been able to do it yet. But then again, I know some people have. Sean Gunning, are you here? There you are, Sean. You got a chance to do it, right?
I am here, brother. Yes, I did.
All right. Can you share it with us?
Yeah. So basically, the first 10 minutes, you just focus on your breath and you keep it in a rhythm. So inhale and exhale, and there's no gaps in between. It's almost like a wheel. It just keeps going around and around and around to get your body nice and relaxed. These second 10 minutes, you focus on your heart and you just put your attention there. If any thoughts come up or if there's any distractions outside, that's really what chapter 1 talks about. Like, that's okay. That's just part of like the rhythm of your mind. Your mind talks. That's what it does. It's a talkie box, right? And that's okay. You just watch the mind, you watch the rhythms of the external, but you can still focus your consciousness, on your heart. For me, I didn't have much. I had a little bit of like vibration in my heart, but the third 10 minutes, so you're now 30 minutes in, that's where I feel more of like a body vibration. The third 10 minutes is where you tune into just your general awareness, your general body, right? And for me, what I felt was almost like this like wave that just like this flow that goes back and forth, and it's a very calming and relaxing, and like it almost when it makes you want to cry, how good it makes you feel. For me, at least, it's almost like when you put water in a glass and you kind of gently shake it back and forth, but it goes really slow. Like that's how it was for me. And then the last 10 minutes, just to kind of sit there in silence and just relax. For me, I just put my weighted blanket on and I went right to sleep, and it was a really nice sleep. So that was my experience, and that was my 40 minutes.
And so it just really relaxed you, or like, what was your experience with it? Like, you know, other than what you did going through the exercise, how was your experience internally? What was your experience?
It was when I got to the point after 30 minutes to my body, when I was recognizing that my heart, but my body, I got super relaxed. My thoughts went away, and I just kind of tuned into this general like wave of energy. I mean, it's very experiential. I mean, you really have to kind of feel it for yourself, because I'm sure everybody's different. But for me, it was just more of like this, just like beautiful wave that just kind of overtook my body, and I was just very relaxed. But I think that the big thing for me is like, and for everybody else on here, it's not expecting anything. Like, don't expect anything to happen, because it probably won't. It's just kind of try the exercise and do your breathing, and, you know, tune into your body, tune into your heart for those 10 minutes, and just kind of experience what happens. And it just kind of came over me, and it was really nice.
Thank you, Sean.
And
Anybody else?
And Pankaj, just want to say thank you for putting this together, man. Super grateful for you, and appreciate it. So
Sure thing, Sean. Thank you. Hey, Rob, I just saw you. You were at the ocean, Rob. Can you put your video on and show us the rhythm of the ocean real quick? You walked away from the ocean.
Here I am.
We don't see your camera. Turn your camera on. There you go. So if you ever notice when you go to the ocean, that the rhythm of the ocean, the ebb and the flow, it comes in, it goes out. It's just like your breath. So Sean, if you can just mute yourself, Rob, we're going to do a little bit of a meditation with, I'm just going to give you a short version of the 40-minute. If you can get close to the thing and just keep your camera on, people can be, I know one person's driving, so please, you ignore anything I say, obviously. I mean, you know, so if there's an app called Insight Timer. It's a great app because it really helps, especially with this course, because you can set like a 20-minute timer, and then you can set intervals at 10 minutes in. So here I'm just going to set 2-minute intervals, and we're going to do the circular breathing. We're going to do the focusing on the heart center. And then if we have another 2 minutes, just any feeling, any rhythms that's going on in your body center. So just get you prepped for a little meditation if you can. And if you want, you just click on Rob's photo and you can see that, you know, yeah, that'll be like the thing if you like, but or you can just have your eyes closed. It's all up to you. But when you hear the bell go off, I'm going to guide you into first focusing, doing the circular breathing. Now, the beautiful thing about circular breathing, right? The circular breathing it's constant movement. If you look at a baby when they're born, you look at the way they breathe, their belly just goes in and out. They don't really have a whole lot of pause in between. That pause we develop over a period of time, and it's like holding in. Like that pause before we exhale is like a fear of letting go, like we talked about with the monkey, right? The monkey could be free if it just let go, but doesn't want to let go. The inhale is all about receiving. The inhale is about receiving. Open up and expand and receive. And sometimes there's a pause before the inhale. It's like kind of represents the fear of receiving, a fear of opening up. So the circular breath kind of bypasses those, the fear, and then it creates an electrical circuit. You can imagine a circle going in and out, inhaling, exhaling. And you'll see that it really impacts the way your mind will start to slow down. Everything starts to slow down, and you become more sensitive. So you can feel then the focus on the heart center, like in between, a little above that, you know, if you took wherever your nipples are and you go across and a little bit above that area right here. What do they call this? The thymus or something like that? Some people do the thymus pump. Remember that? But anyway, just in this area, we're going to focus in after the 2 minutes of breathing. and just feel a sensation, something soft, kind of like butterfly wings or something, like real subtle vibration, and it'll change. And then from that, you feel any sense of pleasure within the body. If it's pleasurable and good, like that, you're going the right way. It's not to say that you won't have pain, because what happens also when you meditate and you go inward and you get still, you become acutely aware sometimes of places where you're holding, and you get aware of the tension, and it can be painful. But as you focus more on the rhythm than the pain, that pain starts to ease up and let go. You'll notice that, especially as you continue to practice. All right. So I'm seeing some people have already started the breathing. So with that, I invite you to just close your eyes, or if you want to look at the ocean that Rob's presenting, that's fine too. And just breathe in and breathe out. That's all you got to do right now. Just like the ocean wave, breath coming in, breath going out. And connect the inhale to the exhale, so there's consistent, continuous motion of the breath. Moving in, moving out. And with each inhale, feel yourself just receiving the breath. And let yourself be so aware of each breath, each unique breath in the moment. Allow yourself to fully experience each breath coming in, each breath going out. The mind may wander, you may have thoughts, but just bring it back fully and completely to your breath. And with each exhale, just letting go, surrendering, breathing in, receiving, exhale, surrendering, knowing that there's always more. You can let go. Slow, soft, and smooth breath. Breathing in, breathing out. You may feel a subtle tingling or sensation because as you're breathing this way, your energy is going to beat up. Now you're going to turn your attention from the breath to the heart center and just feel. You may not sense it at first. You may sense it immediately. It's okay either way. Just continue to allow yourself to be sensitive to whatever's present. And see if you can feel your own unique rhythm, your own spiritual thumbprint. And as best as you can, let your mind rest on this rhythm. Just see and feel the fluctuations, the pulsation of the rhythm. The mind may want to do its dance, but just gently bring your attention more fully to the rhythm, to the heart center. And just feel what's present. And let go of everything else. And now, include your awareness of the pulsation in the heart center, as well as any sensations of pleasure in the body. Just notice any movement in the body, but continuing to focus on the heart center and being aware of the body simultaneously. The energy in and around the body more so than the physical body itself. And you may notice some tension, some stress, anything, just soften. And as you hold your primary attention and awareness in the heart center, and lightly hold any attention and awareness in any tension you may have. And also what may happen as you get into later stages is your body might start moving gently, rocking, swaying. Just allow that to happen too if it happens. That's also the rhythm, your natural rhythm just building. It may happen for a period of time and it may stop. Just allow the energy to flow, whatever way it wants to flow. So very gently, very easily, take your time. Just gently come back, maybe do a light stretch, or I always like to rub my hands over my face sometimes, usually. So that was just 6 minutes, I think, 2 minutes of each. It was just 6 minutes, but the first chapter starts to open your awareness of the energy pulsating in and all around you. But what we did by tuning into the heart center, I call it the heart center, but I feel funny calling it the heart center because it's really above a little bit, for me, but I just use that just for, lack of a better word. So as you focus on this, the spiritual heart center, that's your own unique rhythm. And again, where the attention goes, the energy flows, you start to tune in, and then that frequency, that vibration changes the brain waves. It changes your mind. It starts to change your body. And it just starts, it'll change everything else around you. But it starts with you, right? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. So like it brings us into a more peaceful state of being, right? Connects you with your own rhythm. And then that rhythm, really you feel the flow, and more you're going to start noticing, if you haven't already, but you'll start noticing just living in the flow. You know, things will come together. You don't have to orchestrate. You don't have to be the manager of the universe. The universe already has its own divine flow, this divine order. And you're becoming in touch with the order that everything is established on, this divine order. And you become in tune with that. You become in tune with the cosmic energy that we talked about. And then you'll gradually be able to flow, but have a purpose, and lightly hold your focus and your purpose. And to flow with the purpose is what this thing is all about. That's what we talked about. That's what the whole process is about. And more, right now, we're just going to set up the practice of doing the fundamental practice, which is like 10 to 20 minutes of tuning into that rhythm. First, do the 40-minute exercise so that you can get the full, 10 minutes of breathing, 10 minutes of tuning in, 10 minutes of feeling the sensations. Your body might move a little bit at some point. Sometimes my head starts moving. It's, it feels weird, whatever, but it'll move for a while and then it'll stop, and then just practice that for a week. And then the next step will be getting a yes and no response, learning to ask for a yes response. I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of the curriculum, but don't get too ahead. Take your time with each practice and let it simmer, right? We don't want to microwave the process. We want to let it slow cook and simmer this process and let it marinate, right? So just get into the rhythm, getting into tuning in the rhythm. The first chapter is you tune in the outer world, right? And then but the second chapter, we go right to the source. Once you get in touch with this rhythm, right, that you feel this pulsation here, once you get in touch with that, you don't need to do the breathing anymore. And you don't need to practice. That's all you need to do is just sit, feel that rhythm, and sit there for 10 minutes. All right. And do that in the morning. And if you can do it in the evening, even better. If you can do it twice a day, great. But at least that's all I'm asking you to do is 10 minutes in the morning. And just sit for 10 minutes and tune in. But before you get into that 10 minutes of doing it, do that 40-minute thing at least once, of 10 minutes of breathing, 10 minutes of sitting, like Sean explained the process, 10 minutes of feeling the sensations in the body, like the book explains, and then 10 minutes of just laying down flat in Shavasana, just letting your energy settle and coming out each time. You want to come out gradually. You don't want to get because you're coming back, from this deep state of relaxation. You don't want to get feel jerked or when you're in this very sensitive place, the least thing can kind of irritate you, and you don't want to come out and be all irritated. I'm just going to check the chat real quick and see if there's anything. Okay, good. No questions or anything. So, yeah, anybody want to just share just that 6 minutes, how they feel right now, as opposed to, you can just feel the difference in that little bit of time that you gave to yourself. Even me, my voice, notice my voice has totally changed from what it was before we did the practice. Mm-hmm. Anybody who hasn't spoken yet, AJ Scratch, you got something to say? My brother from the same mother.
For me, it took a little, I've kind of stepped away from my meditation practice for quite some time. So this is like a kind of coming back home again. So it took me a while, after the first 2 dings, you know what I mean? That's when I actually really dropped, I think, from my head down into my heart space. So I couldn't really get there in the first 2 minutes and 4 minutes. But once I got there, yeah, I really felt a real tightness around my solar plex area. So I wasn't really aware of that the whole time. But until when I dropped into my heart, then I really felt that real tightness in my solar plex area, and so, but then it was after that, once I became aware of it, then I was able to soften it. And then when I was able to soften it, my body was be able to relax into the moment more. And then I could feel like my heart rhythm. I could feel like a little pulsation going on around me. And just that ease and that relaxation that kind of Sean talked about, I got like a little glimpse of it, a little taste of it. You know what I mean? Which is a beautiful place, because I feel like from that space, creativity happens. You know what I mean? And beautiful things happen. So that was my experience.
Great. So I hope a lot of people got like just a little bit of taste, because what happens is it starts to feel so good. It becomes like, oh my, I gotta go do my thing because it just feels good. You know what I mean? So it goes from that part of like, oh, I have to do my thing because I have to do my thing, to like, oh man, I gotta do my thing because it's just, you're pulled to do it rather than having to push yourself to do it. Like, because the pleasure sensation of it, you know, and the feeling of like, oh, it's just like the dust of the world falls away. You know, in the beginning, we talked about the flower and the flower. And it really reminds me of the verse in the Bible. It says, Jesus said, look at the lilies of the field. They toil not, yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed as one of these. I'm used to the King James Version. You know, so Solomon was like the richest man in the world at that time, you know, and it's like, you know, or it was legendary for, not at that time, he was in a different time, but he was legendary for his wealth as well as his wisdom, right? It says that the lily of the field, like it's the flower, right? That just flows naturally. And even Solomon, with all his great wealth, was not arrayed as one of those. So to be a flower and to be a flower and to just be in tune with the nature of the universe, you know, the natural cosmic energy that is moving through everyone and everything that's all around us. You're touched with that. That's the only way you want to that's wealth consciousness, you know, and consciousness is our operating system. It's where everything, you know, moves from our consciousness, our level of consciousness. So we're here to heighten our consciousness and raise our vibration. It's all the same thing. As you raise your vibration, you raise your consciousness. And you go from living in the 3D world to 4D, 5D, and whatever. And then what happens is you raise your consciousness, you raise your vibration, then it's like come out from among them, right? Like the scripture says, it's like you're not living and exposed to everything else that the mass consciousness is dealing with, because you're living in a different world. You're living, even though you're in the same, occupying the same world, you're living in a different consciousness. So you get to experience something totally different, even though you might be in the same room and, you know, going through the same things as a lot of people. And as you were lifted up, you get to lift up everybody, the race. And so we'll get into the rhythm, and then the rhythm will start giving us our yes and no signals. And then we'll get into like asking the question, being able to ask, what are the beliefs that are interfering with my prosperity? And you can use that for any area of your life. You know, what are the beliefs that are interfering with my health, with my relationships, whatever, you know, and start to see and ask, what is the truth? And then get into what is the mass consciousness? What is the mass conscious beliefs, right? Because we're all in this quantum soup of consciousness and belief systems. A lot of your beliefs were given to you. They're not even yours. You didn't consciously even choose them. You know, one teacher used to say, your mind's like a trash can. People just came and just threw whatever in it and your mind just accepted it, you know? And so we're going to clarify it. So the whole thing in the beginning process is first getting in tune with the rhythm. And then what do you do when you have to grow food or you build a garden? You got to do the weeding first. You got to get rid of the weeds. So as you get in tune with the rhythm, you're going to get the tools and build the tools necessary to get rid of the weeds so that you can then really flower and flower and be that flower. All right. All right. So just got a few minutes left. Anybody like to share? Really powerful group of people here. Love you all. Really appreciate you all for blessing me, you know, with this opportunity so that I can go deeper. Anybody want to say something?
Yeah, I'll share real quick. Towards the end of it's Frank.
Yes, Frank.
Towards the maybe 4 minutes into the meditation, I got exactly what Sean was referring to like the water in the glass. It almost felt like a pendulum was swaying across my body from shoulder to shoulder, and like I almost wanted to like sway with it, but I couldn't like lock in to it, you know, before the meditation was over to actually get like the rhythm of where it was going, because I thought I was going to one side and then it would come back, you know. So I definitely felt what Sean was talking about in the longer meditation that he tried.
That's great. That's great that you picked it up so fast. And your body starts feeling, you're building that energy and sense. And somebody else wanted to speak too. Yes, Mary.
So the first time I did just the first simple exercise, I was outside in my backyard, and I have a little gazebo and I have flowers around it, and I have little critters in my yard quite a bit. So I got really still, and it was a slightly breezy day, so I was able to see the movement of the leaves, and I was able to notice the patterns of movement of the little animals. And I watched this one little bunny, and he would sniff, and then he would twitch his ears a little, and then he'd go forward, and then he would repeat that. And I got so still that he started running toward me. And I'm like, oh my God, he's coming in the flow with me. And he stayed a little bit. And then I closed my eyes for a little bit. And when I opened him up again, he was right next to me. He was under the little bench, but he was like 18 inches to my left. So it felt like stepping into a world that was already there, that I wasn't aware of. But the other thing I wanted to mention in terms of the flower and the flower is, as you were talking about, I was thinking about my little container gardens that I have around my gazebo. And I was a little informal and random with my flowers this year. And I have a whole bunch of sunflowers which planted themselves. And then recently I was wishing I'd planted some cleomes, and I noticed today I've got one that's about 18 inches tall that I didn't plant. And so that feels to me like noticing the flow, that it happens, it seeds itself, it continues, it grows, it happens as we notice it. I mean, we notice it, it's always happening, but when we step in, we can participate in it. Those are my backyard musings.
Yeah, rabbits, right? They're a symbol of abundance, right? Don't they multiply?
Yeah.
Anybody else? We got just a few minutes, just a minute or 2 minutes left. Anybody, anything? It's all open game. Any questions or anything like that too as well? Is now's the time to ask.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, so just to be clear, again, you're going to be practicing the rhythm response, your own rhythm response, and tuning in, and you're going to be practicing that 10 to 20 minutes at least once a day. And practice that and read chapter 3, but just practice the rhythm response and read chapter 3 for the next class. This is recorded, so there'll be a YouTube link. For some people, like I got like Maurice, he's in Cyprus, so it's like 2 a.m. his time, so he didn't join us today. So some people weren't able to join us, so I'm gonna record. If I remember to hit the record button, I'll record each one and set it up on YouTube and post a link, or email a link out, a day or two afterwards, as soon as I get a chance to. Yeah, anybody else?
This is Jean. I'm sorry I can't get my camera there working, but I will by next week. It was interesting during our 6 minutes. There was a time when I just I was paying attention, but all of a sudden it seemed like I was nowhere, and it was sort of beautiful. I think I was like floating, and I thought, well, I just stayed there, and I said, I don't feel anything of my body. I was like, so that was really cool. And I don't know whether it went to my head or what, but I was just it was all one. It was a very interesting feeling. Experience.
Quiet space. Thank you, Jean. Good to see you. Jenna, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So for me, I was experiencing physical pain and pushing it away. And it occurred to me afterwards an experience I had once when I was meditating in a group and I was dealing with physical pain, and I noticed that there were waves that it would go, it would had a rhythm. It would be intense and not intense, intense and not intense. And so then I'm thinking, well, that's an opportunity for me. And it sounds kind of weird, but I'm also kind of excited. I can get into the rhythm of my pain so that maybe I can understand my body better, and understand, you know, perhaps the rhythm, my natural rhythm, so that I can release the pain.
Mhm. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I'm just wondering, I mean, is that appropriate to watch the rhythm of the pain?
I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is so key. This is so key to this practice, especially as you start doing this meditation practice. At some point, you will, each and everybody will get in touch with pain, right? You become aware or sensitive to pain or tension or something that's painful that you weren't aware for before, or it might even become acute, right? And so just like I said in the meditation, be aware of it, and beware of your tendency to push it away, because what you resist will persist, right? But favor your own rhythm. Favor your rhythm and lightly hold the pain, right? So does that make sense? Your awareness is with the pain, but your awareness predominantly, right? You can be aware of more than one thing, right? But you have a dominant awareness somewhere. So your dominant awareness should be with the rhythm, with this vibration, with spirit, whatever you want to call it, this gateway into God, I call it, right? And then lightly hold the pain and embrace the pain too. And you'll notice and you'll see that the pain or whatever it is, that will start to let go, because that's like the connection to spirit, right? Will start to dissolve that pain. But if you hold on to the pain or you push it away, it's just like a ball underwater. You push that ball underwater, it's going to continue to pop up. It ain't going nowhere. And so look, it's a skill. So definitely very important to be aware of for everybody. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So beautiful class, beautiful group. See you next Thursday. Like I said, if you miss a class, we'll record it. And yeah. Thank you again. All right.
Thank you, Pankaj.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We appreciate you. Good night, everyone.
Peace and blessings to everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Night.
night.